Where they sected the former President Obasanjo's letter to the incumbent President Muhammadu Buhari, and the animated, controversies that have trailed that letter, and including the response from the federal government itself. Let's first forget, what is your reaction about that letter? First of all, how did you, what comes to your mind?
The way I see it is that immediately I learned that Obasanjo wrote a letter. I said, the general is at it again. It is customary Obasanjo. Since he left power in 1979, he's turned himself more or less to the conscience of the nation. When things are going on in a manner that does not suit him, or in a manner he thinks that it does not favor the generality of Nigerians, he speaks and speaks out, no matter who's the God, no matter who is in power. I consider to him.
Now, from the content of that letter,
yes,
does it actually address the issues that Nigerians are confronted with?
Let me situate and contextualize the context of this letter. He accused the regime of three principal things. One, that the presidency of President Muhammadu Buhari is guilty of nepotism. And nepotism that goes to the essence of clannishness, such that even when a member of the clan that he had nepotistically appointed behaves in an errant manner, he does not respond. That to me is, in a manner of speaking, from what we have seen, is true. He also said President Muhammadu Buhari does not understand the dynamics of local national politics.
Foreign policy as well as economic.
The expression of Obasanjo used is national politics. To me, that is subjective. I cannot say that is true or not, because the way you understand the Nigerian national politics, dynamics of Nigerian national politics, depends on the perspective from which you are looking at it. I may not say that Obasanjo is correct in that regard. Then he also accused the presidency of President Muhammadu Buhari as guilty of buck passing. That he was elected to come and fix issues that are bad. So to now pass the buck and say, I am not responsible, to me too, that is odd. Problems are meant to be there. Problems are meant to be solved. So except for the second issue of not understanding the dynamics of national politics, you understand, I see issue 1 and 3 as perfect submission by Obasanjo. But as to his suggestion as to how we should get out of this, okay, I don't agree.
Why would you say that?
He's talking about he's recommending something like a third force.
Exactly, a coalition of the concerned and the willing, a third force. So to say.
You see, I don't think our constitution recognizes such coalition. They can continue to talk and haggle in the midst of the national policy that we are doing, but that would not be the constitutional recommendation for change of government. The constitutional recommendation for change of government is somebody should come out to contest under any of the registered political parties. He has to go through primaries and campaigns, and if Nigerians decide to vote such a person, then he will be the person entitled to replace President Muhammadu Buhari. And in spite of it, somebody comes up and challenges him, and the person does not win, that ends the story. So Nigerians, the mass of Nigerians should be mobilized to see what they want and to identify a candidate that they think will be capable in both energy and wisdom and integrity to deliver the goods. So I don't think of that. I don't recognize that thought force in the manner of speaking that Obasanjo is recommending. I believe that. In any case, Obasanjo has a right as a Nigerian first, and as a former head of state and head of statesman, to advise. It is now the business of the person that is advised to take it. But the ultimate decision as to who will rule Nigerians will decide in Nigerians.
Let me also ask you, what's your opinion and your perspective on the response the government has, the federal government has given back?
No, you see, what the Minister for Information has done is more or less to remind Nigerians what they think their own achievement has been. It is now left for Nigerians to now weigh those achievements and see whether those achievements qualifies President Muhammadu Buhari for a second term.
That's quite true, because usually your achievements should be the basis for being elected for a second term. Now, based on that response, they actually went ahead to arrest the former secretary to the government of the Federation, Babachi Lawal. And would you say that's a knee-jerk approach to?
You see, the position that I take is when matters affect people clanishly appointed by President Muhammadu Buhari, if they have committed, if they have behaved in an errant manner, it takes the presidency time to act. That is not good enough for a leader that says, my watchword is integrity, my watchword is honesty, I want to fight corruption. And things happen and it takes time to respond. That is not good enough. That Babachi Lawal was just arrested after how many months? That to me is suspect. That to me is not good enough.
Now the question is, 2019 is just arrived.
Yes, just by the corner.
Just by the corner. I mean, what does this portend for the presidency, so to say?
The truth of the matter is that it has become customary that when Obasanjo sneezes in Nigeria, Nigerians or the government of the day catches cold. Now, I even think that the coming out of Obasanjo is so good for Nigerians. Probably the government will now start doing things in a manner than the usual way they've been addressing governance issues. They will now be forthcoming, they will now sit tight, they will now do things in a manner that will benefit most Nigerians.
But is it not too late to do that? Why is it just at the twilight?
No, we are just getting to the second term, to the middle of the term. The term is that commenced May 29. Another May 29 will be here to just exactly half term. You understand? It is not too. It's better to be late than never. That's the way I look at it.
Let's look at some of the issues that were raised. For example, the issue of the Fulani herdsmen, the spate of killings that have developed some parts of the country.
Yes.
Shouldn't Buhari have handled it? What would have been the best approach?
You see,
because it has continued unabated.
Let me tell you, the point that I think we should get straight is when criminal activities are committed, we should not synchronize or pigeonhole it into, say, this is committed by Yoruba people or this is committed by Fulani people. To me, a criminal is a criminal. These people are criminals. I don't want to know whether they are Fulanis or whether they come from Nigeria or outside Nigeria. What I think the problem in Nigeria has always been is lack of deliberate, conscious, and persistent attempt to enforce and apply our laws, existing laws, without qualms, no matter who source is God. Let criminals be dealt with in a manner deserving of criminals. So don't let us start calling them Fulani now. If they commit arson, they have violated Nigerian criminal law. If they commit murder, they have violated Nigerian criminal law. If they commit rape, they have violated Nigerian criminal law. Let that law be enforced. It is because they have not been enforcing the laws that regulate life in Nigeria. That's why we continue to have these problems. You see, let me remind you again. We say there are always electoral violence, there are electoral fraud. And you see, once election goes off and the person takes over, have you ever seen any electoral offender prosecuted in Nigeria? in spite of the fact that there are laws meant for that purpose. So I think the culture that we should encourage the government to adopt is deliberate, effective, and efficient enforcement of existing law.
But
criminals be treated criminally.
But Vice Mumuni, yes, the federal government, Buhari, a number of times has said that the judiciary itself is not helping matters. What does that tell you about the Nigerian judicial system?
No, let me say
and the criminal justice system.
You see, let me say this immediately. It is first of all the business of the executive to arrest and arraign culprits or people that have violated our criminal law in court. And in the desire to arrest, you must have built up your case properly. And you present it effectively and efficiently before the courts. Because we are not looking for a rubber stamp judiciary, no. We are not looking for a judiciary that will be siding with the executive.
It's of course.
Where
does the independence of the judiciary come to play?
Exactly. So you have to canvass your case as effectively and efficiently as possible before the court can reach a verdict of guilt. A prosecution that you did unwashly, no court will give conviction. Remember, the fundamental principle of criminal justice is that it is even better and in sync with principle of criminal jurisprudence that 99 persons who have committed offense to escape justice rather than for one accused person who has not committed it to go to jail. That is the base of our criminal jurisprudence. So that is why it is say proof beyond reasonable doubt. So I don't, you see, for example, President Buhari said the judiciary were his problems when he started the war against corruption. But the judiciary is now responding according to law. For example, our organization has obtained 2 judgments made by the Federal High Court. One by Justice Idris, one by Justice Aikawa. Another one was just recently delivered by Justice Oguntoyinbo. And they are all in favor of the fight against corruption. So it is now for the executive to now act according to those judgments.
So you say it is the executive that is supposed to enforce?
Yes, that is the work of execution. Legislation is lawmaking, belongs to the Senate and the House of Reps. Execution, carrying out laws, belongs to the executive. Judiciary is just to interpret the law and do things. And when the judicial person takes oath of office, he says, I shall do justice according to law, without fear or favor, affection or ill will. So I don't blame judiciary, but in any case, this is what we have inherited over time. A slow method of doing our cases, criminal administration. So apart from talking about judiciary, our criminal administration system must be reformed. And I think a lot has already been done by the committee, the SAGE committee, in terms of giving us a clear view of what is to be done, recommending to the executive, recommending to the legislators. It is now for these separate arms to do their work so that they will aid judiciary effectively.
If I may ask you, finally, as far as the political solutions to the crisis bedeviling this country is concerned, do you see APC or PDP coming back into power, or perhaps a third force, or you believe a restructuring is going to solve the entire?
No, let me tell you, I don't believe in restructuring. That's my sincere opinion. Those who are campaigning for restructuring are not the ordinary Nigerians. To me, what we must do is to make our nation and our economy work for the ordinary Nigerians. Once the average ordinary Nigerians are okay, there is no problem in Nigeria. It is because our economy is so terribly weakened now, and it's affecting the average Nigerians. That is the problem that the government has. And that is why I say, whatever money you say you will recover from these people, those that have stolen our country blind, pump it back into the economy so that the ordinary, average Nigerians will enjoy the benefit of it and their life will be better. You see, the idea of restructuring as far as I'm concerned is an elite campaign. They want powers for themselves. Nigerians reckon that Hausas have governed Nigeria more than 30 years of our national life. Has that benefited the common northerners? Obasanjo was the leader of Nigeria for 4 years, for 8 years. Has that benefited the average Westerner? So those are the things, you see, when dummies are sold to us, we must keep our eyes on the ball. You see, those who promote this idea of restructuring, sectionalism, they are all the same. When they steal our money, they don't remember the poor members of their client, of their region. They don't remember religion then. It is when things does not favor the elite in the way they've calculated. That's when they say restructuring. That's when they say sectionalism. That's when they say tribalism. Poverty knows no tribe. Poverty knows no religion. So it is the average Nigerians, common Nigerians, we are united in the way we suffer. Suffering affects all of us, and that is what we should tackle. Let me tell you again, I want to say, if things can start to improve economically now, people will even forget that this government has done something hard in the past. Human nature is such that we remember enjoyment more than we remember suffering. So that's the point that I think we should get straight. It's like when people say this government is fighting corruption in a lopsided manner. I say that is the argument for the corrupt. You understand? The ordinary Nigerians whose health infrastructure, to whom health infrastructure is made unavailable, to whom good roads becomes, to whose children cannot afford education. We are united by this commonality of sufferings, so that nobody should start talking ethnic, religion, or whatever we want to do. We must focus on the ordinary Nigerians. And if that is done, I don't think this government has any problem.
Barrister Mumuni, thank you very much for taking time to be here.
It's a pleasure talking to you.